Hey everyone, welcome to another deep dive, this time into the world of AI and robotics in 2024.
It's going to be a wild one.
Yeah, we've got this amazing article we're looking at that really breaks down all the major developments and breakthroughs.
Oh, yeah.
And I gotta say, some of this stuff is like straight out of a sci-fi movie.
It is. It really, we're not just talking theory here.
Right.
Like, these are real world robots, AI programs learning at incredible speeds.
They're crazy.
And it's all starting to have this huge impact on different industries.
Oh, absolutely.
And honestly, it could even change the way we live our everyday lives.
It really could. Okay, so let's jump right in.
Yeah.
This article talks a lot about simulations and how researchers are using them to teach robots.
Right.
I get the basic idea, like it's a virtual training ground, but why is that such a big deal?
Well, I mean, think of it like this. In a simulation, you can speed up time. So, while a few hours pass in the real world,
Right.
a robot in a simulation could be learning for days, weeks, even years. It's like giving them a fast forward button for learning.
That makes sense, but wouldn't a robot need a ton of computing power to handle that kind of accelerated learning?
Yeah, that's where things get really interesting.
Okay.
There's this project, it's called Project Groot. And
I've heard that.
yeah, and they're actually training robots in these simulations where time moves like 10,000 times faster than reality.
Seriously.
It's mind-boggling.
That's insane.
But the key here is they've figured out how to do it with relatively compact AI models.
Oh, okay.
Kind of like how our own brains use the cerebellum for that like lightning fast processing,
So it's not just about raw power, it's about efficiency too.
Exactly.
That's pretty cool, but how realistic are these simulations? I mean, can a robot really learn something in a virtual world and then just like seamlessly apply it in the real world?
It's a good question, and a lot of researchers are focusing on exactly that,
Right.
like making sure that virtual world behaves as realistically as possible. Dr. Jim Fan, he's a leading AI researcher,
Yep.
has been collaborating with NVIDIA on this.
Okay.
They're working on projects like Eureka and Minecraft Voyager.
Heard of those too.
Yeah, and these AI agents are learning incredibly complex tasks in these hyper-realistic simulated environments.
So they're like building virtual training grounds for robots.
Pretty much, yeah.
That's pretty neat.
It is.
So what kinds of things are they learning to do in these simulations?
Oh, it varies a lot.
Okay.
Some are learning how to navigate like complex terrains.
Right.
Others are mastering delicate manipulation tasks.
Like what?
Oh, there's even one where a robot learned to balance on a yoga ball.
What?
Yeah,
A robot doing yoga?
it's pretty wild.
Okay, so we've got robots learning in these virtual worlds.
Right.
But what about the physical robots themselves?
Yeah.
This article talks about a surge in the development of humanoid robots.
Mm-hmm.
And I have to ask, are we really getting closer to robots that like look and move like us?
We absolutely are.
Seriously?
Tesla, for example, they've been making huge strides with their Optimus robot.
Oh yeah, I've seen videos.
They just had this event called We Robot,
Uh-huh.
where they showcased its dexterity.
Okay.
This thing has 22 degrees of freedom in its hands alone.
Wait, 22.
22.
That's crazy.
Meaning it can move its fingers with almost human-like flexibility.
Wow. But why, I'm curious, what's the thinking behind making robots look human? Wouldn't it be more efficient to just design them for specific tasks, regardless of how they look?
Well, Tesla's philosophy, and it's a pretty compelling one,
Okay.
is that our world is built for humans, right?
Yeah.
All our tools, our spaces, everything is designed around our bodies and how we move.
Yeah.
So if you want robots to truly integrate seamlessly into our lives,
Yeah.
it makes sense for them to resemble us.
Okay. I guess that makes sense. But is everyone going for that humanoid form? Are other companies doing that too?
Not necessarily. Boston Dynamics, for instance.
Oh, yeah, I know them.
They're known for their incredibly agile robots, like Atlas.
I've seen videos of Alice doing backflips. It's insane.
This thing can run, jump, even do backflips.
It's crazy.
Yeah, and they're already being used in real-world settings like BMW's manufacturing plants.
Oh, wow.
Where their agility makes them super valuable.
So we've got humanoid robots working alongside humans.
We do.
That's pretty futuristic.
It is, and it brings up a lot of questions about the future of work.
Yeah, for sure.
Something we'll probably need to dive into a little later.
Definitely.
Yeah.
But you mentioned other approaches to robotics.
Oh, right.
What about clone robotics?
Well, yeah.
They're doing some really interesting things.
They are. They're taking a fascinating approach using biomimetic muscles and tendons.
Yeah. Their robots are eerily realistic, like almost like something out of a sci-fi movie.
I know, right?
It's both amazing and a little creepy.
It is.
What are the advantages of building robots that move so much like humans?
Well, for one, it could make them much more adaptable to different environments. Our bodies are incredibly complex and capable. And like replicating that level of flexibility could be key to creating robots that can function in a wide range of
Like
situations.
they're taking inspiration from nature's best design.
Exactly.
I can definitely see the potential there. But speaking of potential,
Yeah,
this article also talked about how robots are becoming much more accessible and affordable.
they are.
Are we really talking about a future where robots are as common in our homes as like a car?
It's definitely a possibility,
Yeah.
and it's closer than you might think.
Okay.
There are companies like Unitree
Uh-huh.
that are already selling fairly advanced humanoid robots for around $40,000.
Wow. That's still a significant chunk of change.
It is.
But I remember when robots were these like $1 million machines you only saw in labs.
Yeah,
So you're saying we could actually see robots in our homes in the not too distant future.
I think so.
What would that even look like? I mean, will we have robot butlers making
Yeah.
us coffee?
Maybe not butlers, but robots that can handle everyday chores.
Okay.
Those are definitely on the horizon.
Like what kind of chores?
Well, and it's not just about buying pre-built robots either.
Right.
There's this whole movement around DIY robotics
Oh, yeah.
with kits like Aloha that allow people to build their own robots at home
Wow.
using consumer-grade GPUs and open-source resources.
Wait, so you're telling me I could build a robot in my garage?
Pretty much.
That's insane.
It is pretty cool.
What kinds of tasks could these DIY robots actually perform?
Well, we're still in the early stages,
Right.
but they're being designed to handle things like cleaning laundry, maybe even fetching things.
Okay, so like a robotic helper to take care of all those tedious chores that nobody enjoys doing.
Exactly.
Okay, now this is starting to get really interesting. I have to admit, I would love to have a robot that could fold my laundry. What about you? What chore would you automate first if you could build your own robot?
Honestly, we're probably doing the dishes.
Oh, yeah.
It's one of those tasks that I never seem to get around to, and it would be amazing to have a robot take care of it for me.
Right. Imagine having a robot do the dishes, fold your laundry, maybe even take out the trash.
Uh-huh.
It would free up so much time and energy.
Exactly. And that extra time could be spent on things that we actually enjoy, like
like-
spending time with loved ones, pursuing hobbies, or simply relaxing.
Absolutely. So we've talked about robots learning in simulations,
Right.
the rise of humanoids,
Mm.
and even the possibility of robots in our homes.
It's exciting.
But there's one more concept from this article that I'm really curious about.
Okay.
Embodied AI.
Ah, yes.
What exactly does that mean?
Okay, so embodied AI, it's a fascinating concept.
Yeah.
Basically, it's the idea of putting an AI system into a physical body, a robot,
Mm.
and letting it interact with the real world.
Okay.
So instead of just existing as code on a computer,
Right.
the AI is actually controlling a robot that can move and act in the physical world.
So it's like the AI is getting a real-world internship learning by doing.
Exactly.
Can you give me an example?
Sure, think about Tesla's full self-driving technology.
Okay.
That's a perfect example of embodied AI.
Hmm.
The AI system isn't just analyzing data in some server farm.
Right.
It's actually behind the wheel making decisions based on what it's seeing and sensing in real time.
Ah, I see. So the car itself becomes the body for the AI.
Yeah.
And the AI learns by actually driving, making mistakes, and correcting them.
Yeah.
It's like trial and error, but on a much faster, more sophisticated level.
Precisely. And because the AI is constantly collecting data and learning from its experiences,
Right.
it can improve at an incredible rate.
Okay, that makes sense. But where does Project Groot fit into all of this?
Okay.
It was mentioned in the article alongside embodied AI, but I'm not sure I see the connection.
It's a subtle connection, but a really important one.
Okay.
You see, Project Groot is all about mimicking those subconscious motor skills that humans take for granted.
Like what?
Things like walking, grabbing objects, maintaining balance.
Right.
These are incredibly complex tasks for a robot,
Yeah.
requiring a lot of processing power. So they're trying to make robots that can move as smoothly and instinctively as we do.
So it's like they're teaching robots to dance without stepping on their own toes.
Pretty much.
But seriously, that's pretty amazing. So we've got robots learning at warp speed in simulations. We've got robots moving with incredible dexterity. And we've even got robots that are starting to learn how to move as naturally as humans. It's mind-blowing to think about how far robotics has come in such a short time.
It really is, and it's only going to get more incredible from here.
I can't wait to see what happens
Me
next.
neither.
But before we get too far ahead, I think it's time for us to take a break and let all this sink in.
Yeah, good idea.
We've covered a lot of ground in this first part of our deep dive, and there's still so much more to explore.
Definitely.
But for now, let's just take a moment to process all of this mind-blowing information.
Sounds good to me.
We'll be back soon to delve even deeper into the world of AI and robotics in 2024.
See you then. Welcome back.
Oh, man. It's amazing to think about how much progress has been made in just a year. We've talked about robots learning in simulations, mastering incredible dexterity, and even starting to move like humans.
It's really something.
But this article goes even further,
Oh, yeah.
making some pretty bold predictions about the future. Where do you see all of this heading?
Well, if 2024 was any indication, I think we're in for a wild ride.
Okay.
One of the most exciting areas is the potential for robots to revolutionize different industries.
Yeah, we're already seeing that in manufacturing, right?
Right, exactly. But that's just the tip of the iceberg.
So give me some examples. What other industries could be transformed by robotics?
Well, imagine surgical robots.
Okay.
So precise, they can perform procedures with superhuman accuracy, minimizing risks and improving outcomes for patients.
That's
Or
incredible.
robots designed to provide care and companionship for the elderly,
Okay.
easing the burden on healthcare systems and families.
It's like robots are becoming partners in our well-being.
Exactly, and it goes beyond physical tasks, too.
Okay. How so?
Think about education. Imagine personalized AI tutors
Mm-hmm.
that adapt to each student's learning style,
Wow.
providing individualized support and instruction.
That would be a game changer.
It could revolutionize how we learn
Right.
and make quality education more accessible to everyone.
Like having a private tutor for every student.
Exactly.
Okay, so robots in healthcare education, what about our everyday lives?
Yeah.
The article mentions something about embodied AI being integrated into both physical and virtual applications.
Right.
What do they mean by that?
Okay, so we've talked about embodied AI and physical robots,
Right.
but AI can also exist in virtual spaces,
Okay.
like in video games or simulations.
So we could have AI-powered characters in games that are as realistic and responsive as human players.
Exactly.
That would definitely change the gaming experience.
For sure. And as AI models become more sophisticated,
Mm-hmm.
these virtual characters could become incredibly lifelike,
Okay.
capable of complex emotions, learning, even creativity.
It really blurs the lines between the real and virtual worlds. It does.
That's wild. But what about the real world? How will embodied AI impact our daily lives outside of video games?
Imagine a world where your smartphone isn't just a device,
Okay.
but a portal to a personalized AI assistant
Okay.
that can interact with the physical world on your behalf.
So like I could tell my phone to order groceries, book appointments, or even control the lights in my house, and the AI would handle it all.
Exactly. It's like having a personal concierge
What?
that lives in your pocket.
And this is actually possible.
Oh, yeah. The technology is already being developed.
Wow.
AI assistants are getting smarter all the time.
Right.
And advancements in data processing and simulation are making it more and more feasible.
That's pretty amazing. But it also raises some questions, doesn't it?
It does.
If AI assistants have access to so much of our data and can interact with the physical world, how do we ensure they're used responsibly and ethically?
Yeah, that's a crucial question.
Hmm.
As AI becomes more integrated into our lives, it's essential to develop clear ethical guidelines and safeguards.
We need to make sure these technologies are used for good, not harm, and that they respect our privacy and autonomy.
Absolutely. Okay, shifting gears a bit.
Sure.
The article also predicted a surge in personal and small-scale robotics, suggesting robots could become as common in our homes as cars.
Right.
I'm still trying to wrap my head around what that would look like.
It's definitely a bold prediction.
Yeah.
But remember, we're already seeing companies like Unitree offering surprisingly capable humanoid robots at relatively affordable prices.
Sure.
And with the rise of DIY robotics kits,
Right.
more and more people are getting hands-on experience building and customizing their own robots.
Those DIY kits like Aloha,
Yeah.
they're making robotics accessible to anyone with a passion for tinkering.
Exactly.
That's like the early days of personal computers, where hobbyists were driving innovation from their garages.
I see the parallel. And just like with PCs, the potential for creativity and innovation in personal robotics is huge.
Okay, so what does that look like in practice?
Well, imagine people designing robots that reflect their own personalities and needs,
Okay.
leading to this diverse ecosystem of robots,
Mm-hmm.
from sleek and minimalist to quirky and
It's
whimsical.
like the ultimate form of self-expression,
Right.
building a robot that's an extension of yourself.
Exactly. But this idea of robots in our homes brings up a lot of interesting questions.
Oh, yeah, for sure. Like, how would we interact with these robots?
Yeah, would they become like members of the family?
Right.
Think back 100 years, the telephone was revolutionary.
Okay.
Today, we carry smartphones that are more powerful than the computers that sent astronauts to the moon.
It's true.
Technology evolves rapidly, and our relationship with robots will likely evolve too.
So what starts as a tool or appliance could gradually become more integrated into our lives.
Exactly.
It's almost like science fiction becoming reality, isn't it?
It is. But as with any powerful technology, we need to approach it with a mix of excitement and caution.
Right. Of course.
Yeah.
But maybe we're getting ahead of ourselves.
Yeah.
Before we start worrying about robot uprisings or falling in love with our AI assistants,
Right.
let's focus on the immediate implications.
Okay.
What are the most pressing issues we need to address as AI and robotics become more prevalent in our lives?
Well, one of the most crucial is ethics.
Okay.
AI is getting incredibly sophisticated, able to make decisions that impact the real world.
Right.
We need to ensure these systems are guided by ethical principles that align with human values.
So making sure AI is used for good, respecting human rights, and avoiding biases that could perpetuate existing inequalities.
Exactly. It's a huge responsibility.
It is. We need to be mindful of the data we feed these AI systems, the algorithms we design, and the values we embed in their decision-making processes.
Right. We're essentially shaping a new generation of intelligent beings,
Right.
and we need to make sure they're ethical and responsible.
It's like we're all embarking on this grand experiment,
Yeah.
one that has the potential to reshape humanity in profound ways.
It-
But the outcome depends on the choices we make, the values we uphold, and the actions we take.
I agree. And on that note, I think it's time for us to take a short break and let all this information sink in before we tackle the final part of our deep dive.
Welcome back to our deep dive into AI and robotics.
Yeah.
It's incredible to think about all the ways this technology is evolving, and honestly, it's a little mind-boggling to imagine where it's all going.
I know. It really is a fascinating time. We've covered so much already, from robots learning and simulations to the potential for them to transform industries like healthcare and education.
It's wild, right?
It is, but I think there's a bigger conversation we need to have about what this all means for us as humans.
Yeah, I agree. It's not enough to just marvel at the technology.
Right.
We need to think about the implications, the challenges, even the philosophical questions it raises.
Absolutely. One question that always comes up is the impact on the future of work.
Right.
If robots can perform increasingly complex tasks, what does that mean for human jobs? Is this a threat or an opportunity?
Yeah, it's a question that's been on everyone's mind for a while now.
It has.
I remember reading articles about robots taking over jobs years ago,
Mm-hmm.
but as AI and robotics become more sophisticated, it feels like that future is getting closer and closer.
It's true. But history has shown us that technological advancements often create new jobs even as they displace old ones.
Okay.
Think about the internet.
Right.
It disrupted countless industries, but it also created entirely new fields and job opportunities that didn't exist before.
So instead of fearing robots as job stealers, we should be thinking about how we can adapt and evolve alongside them.
Exactly. Instead of viewing robots as replacements, we can see them as potential collaborators, partners that can augment our abilities and free us up to focus on tasks that require uniquely human skills.
So robots handle the repetitive or dangerous tasks, and humans focus on things that require creativity, critical thinking, empathy, those things that AI still struggles with.
That's the idea. Imagine doctors using AI to analyze complex medical data, freeing them up to spend more time with patients, providing personalized care, and building stronger relationships. Or architects using AI to generate design options, allowing them to focus on the creative vision and human-centric aspects of their work.
It's a shift from seeing technology as something that replaces us to something that enhances our capabilities.
Yeah.
And I love that you mentioned creativity.
Yeah.
Because this article also talked about the potential for AI to create art, music, and literature. Does this mean that human creativity is becoming obsolete?
It's a thought-provoking question.
It is.
It's clear that AI can generate impressive creative outputs,
Uh-huh.
but I think the key difference is the intention behind the creation.
Okay.
Human art is an expression of emotions, ideas, experiences.
Mhm.
It's about connecting with others on a human level.
So even if AI can technically create art, it's the human element, the emotional depth and intentionality that gives it meaning.
Exactly. And it reminds us that we need to be mindful of the values we instill in these AI systems.
Right.
If we want AI to create art that resonates with humans, we need to teach it not just technical skills,
Yeah.
but also empathy, compassion, and an understanding of the human experience.
It's almost like we're raising a new generation of artists, but instead of giving them paintbrushes and canvases, we're giving them algorithms and data sets.
It's a powerful analogy. And speaking of shaping the future, this article also made a bold prediction about the rise of personal robots in our homes, suggesting they could become as commonplace as cars. I'm still struggling to wrap my head around what that would look like in
Me
practice.
too. I mean, we've seen robots in movies and TV shows,
Yeah.
but those are usually fictionalized depictions.
Yeah.
What would it actually be like to have a robot living in your house?
It's a fascinating question. Think back 100 years. The telephone was a revolutionary invention.
Right.
Today, we have smartphones that are more powerful than the computers that sent astronauts to the moon.
It's
Technology evolves rapidly, and our relationship with robots will likely evolve too. What starts as a tool or appliance could become something much more integrated into our lives.
So we might start with a robot that helps with chores, but it could eventually become something more like a companion, maybe even a friend.
It's certainly possible. And it brings up all sorts of interesting questions about how we interact with robots, the roles they play in our lives, and
That's right.
even the ethical implications of forming emotional bonds with machines.
It's like we're venturing into uncharted territory where the lines between technology and humanity become increasingly blurred.
Exactly. And as we navigate this uncharted territory, it's crucial to address the ethical considerations.
For sure.
AI is becoming increasingly sophisticated, making decisions that can have real-world consequences.
Hmm.
We need to make sure these systems operate with ethical guidelines that align with human values.
We need to be mindful of the data we feed these AI systems, the algorithms we design, and the values we embed in their decision-making processes. It's a huge responsibility.
Absolutely. And it underscores the importance of education and awareness. We need to educate ourselves and future generations about the potential and the pitfalls of AI so we can make informed decisions and shape a future where this technology benefits all of humanity.
It's like we're all embarking on this grand experiment with the potential to transform our world in incredible ways.
Yeah.
But the outcome of that experiment depends on the choices we make, the values we uphold, and the actions we take.
Well said. And on that note, I think we've reached the end of our deep dive. It's been an incredible journey exploring the latest advancements in AI and robotics and pondering the profound questions they raise.
It really has. But as we've discovered, the journey is just beginning. The future of AI and robotics is still being written, and it's a story that we are all a part of. So stay curious, keep asking questions, and let's continue to explore this fascinating frontier together.